Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're wading into some pretty murky waters. We're talking about Reddit confessions, these online spaces where people share things, sometimes maybe a little too much.
Right, sometimes way too much.
Exactly. So our mission today is to explore some of these intentional, dark, secret reveals. We've got stories ranging from pretty grim to, honestly, just bizarre.
And we're looking at what they tell us about, well, human nature and maybe this digital age we're all in.
Yeah, and we're drawing from transcripts of discussions around these actual confessions, so we get the context, the reactions, the whole picture.
And what's really striking, I think, is this paradox you find on platforms like Reddit.
How so?
Well, you have this anonymity, right? But at the same time, it somehow encourages this incredibly raw, almost painful vulnerability.
Ah, right. Like a shield and a stage at the same time.
Precisely. And it lets these secrets bubble up, things that might never see the light of day otherwise. And these aren't just stories online. They often have real, serious consequences.
That duality is definitely powerful. And it brings us straight to our first case. This one landed on our Canada News, which is usually, for news.
Yeah.
Not this.
Not usually this kind of personal drama, no.
So May 2nd, 2017. A post pops up that just completely shatters the usual vibe there.
Okay.
The user is Red as Blue 101, and the title alone is jarring. Wanted for kitchen and murder my side.
Wow. Okay.
So just to set the scene, a few days before this post, a 22-year-old woman named Melinda Vasilica was found dead in her apartment in Kitchener. She'd been stabbed multiple times.
Awful.
And the prime suspect, her ex-boyfriend, Agar Hassam, and he was on the run.
Right.
So nobody expected him, the suspect himself, to suddenly appear on Reddit and start detailing, his side of the story.
That's audacious. So what did he say?
Well, he started this really long post by claiming he wasn't trying to run forever. He said he needed space before turning himself in. He wrote things like, no one's more destroyed than I am.
Trying to frame himself.
Totally. He called Melinda more than a girlfriend, a soon-to-be fiancé, his everything. He talked about their relationship like it was their first serious long-term relationship, mentioned travel, meeting families.
Painting a very specific picture.
Yeah. He even claimed he would never physically hurt her. But then, almost in the next breath, he adds that she would occasionally hit or slap me, which he'd just laugh off.
Setting up a justification later, perhaps.
Seems like it. He talks about their breakup, some police involvement because of her family, and then deciding weeks later to try and secretly get back together.
Okay, so they meet up again.
Right, at her apartment. And this is where his story takes the turn. He says he admitted he'd been with other girls while they were broken up, for honesty.
And her reaction, according to him?
He wrote that she started freaking out, didn't say anything, just kept slapping me with tears in her eyes, and then slaps turned into hits.
Right, so he's building this narrative of her escalating things.
Exactly. He claims he warned her to stop, or he'd do something back. She didn't stop, so he says he stupidly pushed her harder than I expected. She falls against the sink. He calls this the first time I ever did anything physically towards her. Then he says she told him to leave, but almost out of nowhere, she grabs a knife by the sink.
Okay, so now he's claiming she initiated the weapon use?
Yes. He said he thought she was just trying to scare him off, but then, quote, she comes at me in full force, aiming towards my face.
And he reacts.
He says he tried to grab the blade, cut his hands. Then he writes, after a few cuts, I lost it. I freaked out. I was scared and in a state of shock.
The classic lost control defense.
The shock and fear. I grabbed one in her hand. I hit her with it almost blindly a few times. He keeps repeating he was confused, shocked, scared. No intentions of that happening.
Right.
He even claimed he thought she'd just passed out. Then he saw the blood, freaked out, and just ran. Said he only found out she died the next day.
It's quite the detailed, self-serving narrative, trying to cover all the bases.
Definitely. He doubled down, saying he was protecting myself. He even asked, why would I buy her roses that night if I was planning on killing her?
Interesting detail to include.
He explained, running away by saying he didn't go home, had his passport, just needed to get away for a few days before turning myself in or ending it all. Claimed he was in the U.S. with like $200, no clean clothes, really pushing the unplanned panic angle.
It's a chilling example of someone trying to control the narrative after something horrific, using the internet as a platform for self-justification almost.
Yeah. And Reddit's reaction was, mixed. Some people actually seemed to believe him, offered advice even.
Really?
Yeah. But others were, understandably, very skeptical.
What were the main points the skeptics brought up? What didn't add up?
Well, the huge one was something he conveniently left out. Melinda actually had a restraining order against him.
Ah, so he shouldn't have even been there.
Exactly. And people asked, okay, if it was an accident or self-defense, why not call 911? Why run?
Right. Fleeing the scene is usually not what innocent people do.
And his claim about needing a few days before turning himself in, that didn't hold up either. He was arrested over a month later, July 11th.
A month?
In San Antonio, Texas. During a traffic stop, he'd been on the run for 2.5 months.
So much for needing just a few days. That completely undermines his post.
Completely. And the irony here is pretty stark. His online confession, this attempt to paint himself as a victim,
It backfired.
massively. Prosecutors are actually using that Reddit post against him now in his trial for second-degree murder. It directly contradicts his whole seeing red, loss of control defense. They argue she was scared of him and this was no accident.
Wow. So his attempt to confess and maybe gain sympathy became key evidence against him.
Exactly. It really highlights that line between public confession and, well, digital self-incrimination.
It's a powerful reminder that what you put online, even trying to be anonymous, can have very permanent, very real consequences. That digital footprint is hard to erase.
It really is. Okay, so leaving that really disturbing case behind, let's shift gears slightly. Our next story involves a different kind of tragedy, one that stemmed from a mistake, a fatal mistake made in the shadows of the internet.
Okay.
This one comes from Circ Confession. That's a subreddit specifically for people to anonymously admit, their darkest or most shameful secrets,
Right.
often using throwaway accounts.
Right. A space designed for exactly this kind of thing.
So about a year ago, a user named Mesk997 posted something they warned was a dark read.
Setting expectations.
Yeah. They explained they'd set up a shop on the deep web selling illicit substances. They saw it as easy money without the risks of face-to-face dealing, found a supplier, expanded their offerings.
Okay. Standard deep web market setup sounds like.
Pretty much. But one of the new things they started selling was fentanyl, which they called F in the post.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Fentanyl. Extremely potent.
Right, and the problem was it looked almost identical to another much weaker product they sold, which they called M. M was popular, F, not so much.
I think I see where this is going. And it's terrifying. That potential for a mix-up.
Exactly. And that's what happened. Mess997 wrote, and this is a quote, "My Excel messed up, or I messed up, and about 7 people's M orders were filled in as F orders."
Oh, no. So they sent out fentanyl instead of the weaker substance.
Yes. They shipped them out, didn't realize the error for several days, just kept operating.
How did they find out?
After about 5 days, someone contacted them, said their friend had died from the M they bought from the shop.
Oh, my God.
Mess997 said they initially kind of dismissed it, but then they checked their inventory, their order logs, and they realized they had way more M left than they should have, about 11 grams more.
The missing product was the fentanyl, labeled as M.
Yes, and then the really grim part. They checked the market logs again. Noticed that none of the people who received those specific orders had finalized their purchase feedback, which is common on those markets.
Meaning they likely hadn't received it, or...
Or worse, none of those users had logged back into the site for at least 3 days, including the person whose friend had reportedly died.
So they realized.
They realized their simple spreadsheet error, their mix-up, had killed people. They estimated at least 5 people.
5 lives lost because of a data entry mistake in an anonymous online drug shop. That's profound, the detachment versus the consequence.
It's staggering. The user said they immediately sold the rest of my stuff, converted my Bitcoin to cash, and moved away. Vanished.
Understandable reaction, I suppose. Self-preservation kicks in.
They said they didn't talk to anyone for weeks, eventually got a restaurant job in a totally different place, cut all ties.
But the guilt.
Oh, yeah. They wrote, they still think about the victims every single night. They'd save their usernames, even Googled them later and found news reports confirming 4 deaths.
4 confirmed. And they mentioned one customer shared it.
Right. One customer shared the product, which was supposed to be M, but was actually F, with a friend. So 2 people died from just that one mistaken order.
Unbelievably tragic.
The user finished the post saying the whole thing just broke them, made them withdraw from society, feeling like a shell of my former self.
It shows that even with the layers of anonymity and distance the internet provides, that kind of responsibility, that psychological weight, it's inescapable. You can run, but you can't hide from that.
Absolutely. The virtual walls didn't protect them from the very real guilt.
It really makes you think about the hidden consequences behind those anonymous online transactions.
Okay, from accidental anonymous tragedy, we pivot to something else entirely. This might be the most bizarre and maybe unsettling confession we've come across. The infamous foot tacos story.
Ah, yes. I've heard whispers of this one. It's definitely memorable.
It unfolded on REMA Ask Me Anything, where people with interesting lives or experiences answer questions from Reddit users.
Right. Usually astronauts or celebrities or scientists.
Or in this case, a user called Incredibly Shiny Shard. And their claim to fame was, well, let's just say it was unique.
Understatement of the year.
Their post title: Hi all, I am a man who had a portion of his own amputated leg. Ask me anything.
Okay. Just lays it right out there.
Yep. The backstory was about 2 years before the AMA, he was in a serious motorcycle accident. Doctor saved his foot, but he'd never walk on it properly again. So he chose amputation.
A tough decision, but medically understandable.
But then came the unusual part. He asked the doctors if he could keep the amputated foot.
Keep it. Take it home.
Exactly. He signed waiver forms, whatever was needed, and they gave it to him. Yeah. He took his own severed foot home.
Right. That's where it diverges from the typical amputation story. What did he do with it?
This is the core of the confession. He, with the help of some friends, apparently, cooked a piece of it.
He cooked his own foot.
A portion of it, yes.
Right.
He specified it was the tibialis anterior muscle.
Okay.
And he shared details. Said they prepared it with lime, onions, and peppers. Made tacos. Foot tacos.
Foot tacos. Okay. I need a moment with that one. Did he say how it tasted?
Oh, he did. That was one of the main things people asked naturally. He described it as tasting like buffalo, but chewier, super beefy, and little fat.
Like buffalo.
He even rated it. Gave his own foot a 6.5 out of 10.
A 6.5.
Said it tasted better than hot dogs and regular burgers.
I have no words for that comparison. Better than a hot dog.
And to prove it wasn't just some elaborate hoax, the AMA included photos. We won't describe them, but yeah. Pictures of the leg after the accident, x-rays, the severed limb itself, even pictures of the cooking process with him and about 10 friends.
He documented the whole thing, the cooking party.
Seems so. It pushes boundaries, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Personal choice, what's taboo,
right.
What you share online.
Absolutely. What drives someone not just to do that, but then to share it so openly, invite scrutiny, invite disgust or morbid curiosity on a huge public platform.
Really makes you wonder about the motivations. Was it curiosity, shock value, some kind of extreme coping mechanism, or just because he could and the internet was there to tell?
And the community reaction must have been intense.
Oh, you can imagine. A mix of disbelief, morbid fascination, horror, and surprisingly, some level of acceptance, or at least curiosity about the sheer strangeness of it.
It's a testament to the sheer range of human behavior and what the internet allows people to express, for better or worse.
Definitely for worse, in some people's view, I'm sure. Okay, so let's try and wrap our heads around all this.
The challenging task.
We've gone from a desperate, self-serving murder confession to a truly tragic, deep web mistake with fatal consequences and landed on, well, foot tacos. It's quite a spectrum of dark secrets.
It really is. And if you try to connect the dots, what stands out is how these online spaces, particularly with anonymity, allow people to shed inhibitions.
Right.
They confess things, admit things, share things they likely never ever would in their face-to-face lives, whether it's driven by guilt, a need for validation, morbid curiosity, or something else entirely.
The internet becomes this strange confessional booth or maybe a bizarre stage.
Exactly. And these confessions, whether they're completely true, slightly skewed, or even fabricated in some cases, they shine a light on that complex dance between being hidden and being seen, between anonymity and honesty, or maybe just exposure.
And the culpability aspect, too.
Yeah.
Like, in the first two cases, the confession itself had massive real-world weight.
Absolutely. It shows the lines are really blurred. What happens online doesn't always stay online, but it also reveals the depths of what people carry around with them. Secrets big and small, horrific, and just plain weird.
Which, I guess, leads to a final, maybe unsettling thought for you listening.
Mm-hmm.
If people are willing to confess these kinds of things online, even potentially incriminating themselves or revealing truly bizarre acts, what secrets might the people around you, people you know, be holding on to? What might they confess if given that anonymous space?
It's a sobering thought, isn't it? The hidden lives that might exist just beneath the surface.
It really is. Well, thank you for joining us on this pretty unsettling but definitely intriguing deep dive into some of the darker corners of Reddit and online confessions.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey through these stories.
We hope it's given you something to think about. Human nature, online communities, the secrets we keep. Stay curious, stay safe out there online, and we'll catch you in the next deep dive.